Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the Suicide Squad. Not to be confused with the Ayer Suicide Squad, but James Gunn's Suicide Squad from 2021, which just got released. Yeah, I know. Confusing. Well, before I get started, let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video on the very end. It pops up right here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos by vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and I've got the links to all my pages. So this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. So what I'm going to do the spoiler-free version for first of all of this. So this movie, of course, is out on in theaters and also on HBO Max at the same time. So you have both options there. If you're willing to, risk getting infected and going to the theaters, great. Also, if you don't want to, you can watch it at home on HBO Max, which is what I did. I got the surround sound system. I actually had to fix one of the speakers and everything's good. But yeah, so it's not a continuation. They really don't mention the Ayer movie at all in this movie. So they don't really allude to it at all. But they don't dissuade from it either. So completely different movie. James Gunn wrote and directed this, of course. This being after he was fired from Marvel after some 15-year-old tweet popped up about him joking about priest pedophilia. And some right wingers had pulled it out. Anyway, and then, of course, he's back at Disney again. But still, during that time, he was brought over to DC, Warner Brothers, and he did this movie. And it's a batshit crazy movie. It really is. It is a bit long. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes long. There are some places in it where there could be some edits. It's not really, how should I say this? It's not readily apparent to most people where those edits would be, but there's a few like small places where there's stuff that could just easily have been taken out, like Pete Davidson. And yeah, there's stuff in there that could have been done a little to tighten it up a bit, but it's actually pretty well done. It's a fun movie. There's a lot of explosion. There's a lot of gore. It follows, it's comics, if you will. So it has a lot of D-list characters, I guess you can say, and it does mention some of the A-list characters as well while you're in there. Margot Robbie, of course, Harley Quinn, she's back again. So are a few other people from the Ayer movie and also from their own spin-offs on that. Basically, Captain Boomerang's back and Colonel Flag is back as well. And those are pretty much the only ones from the original movie that are back. Everyone else is fairly new in all of this. And we get and this is really no spoiler. The island of Corto Maltese does not exist except in the DC universe. So it's been mentioned quite a few times within other DC universes. We get to see it for the first time in this movie. So that is where their mission is in Corto Maltese. And I have to admit, I never thought I would ever see the final boss, if you will, in a live action series, movie, whatever you have. And I was pleasantly surprised by it, as well as tickled by it as well. So, excuse me. Mark says it wasn't worth it for me, bland. And hello, by the way, Marks. I can see somewhat. Like I said, there was some editing that needed to be done. God, I don't know what's going on with my throat all of a sudden. So, is it worth your time? Yes, it's worth your time. It's fun. It's actually there's stuff out there that you haven't seen before, quite honestly, and it's stuff that you probably will never see ever again in another movie. Um, he was given James Gunn was given kind of a carte blanche, if you will, to create what he wanted to do, and he did that. Is he ever going to get this chance again? I don't think so. I know that he's being invited back for. He's doing a Peacemaker series, which is the John Cena character for HBO Max. There is talk about him coming back and doing some other DC movies, possibly, but yeah, who knows from there? You know. Um, so, with that said, from here on out, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the movie. If you have not watched the movie, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. Okay. So like I said, there's a couple places in this where it could have been tightened up dramatically. I don't like movies that do a little flashback in the middle of the movie, and not normally. I mean, if it's done well, yes, this was not done well. There's 3 instances of where it happens, and it kind of pissed me off, quite honestly. And those are the areas where I was like, if you just told the story linearly in a linear fashion and not done those, 3 minutes before or 8 minutes before or 3 days before, that kind of thing, I would have been okay without those 3 jump backs. You really didn't need them. And also, like I said, you could have really tightened up some scenes, like um, the whole initial beach. Um, uh, Pete Davidson didn't need to be in this movie, quite honestly. Uh, yeah, there, I said it. He didn't need to be in it. Neither did pretty much anybody else that was in that first wave of people that were dying. But they kind of had to bring in Flag and Harley Quinn some way, in a comical way. And yeah. But I kind of figured that first beach scene it is a wasted scene, quite honestly. That's what I look at it as. And there could have been other ways of doing that a bit better, but I had thought of some stuff earlier. I didn't write it down, and I completely forgot about it now at this point. But still, there are some things that could have been tightened up in there. Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, you didn't get any of his power of why he has those electrodes in his head, just other than it's supposed to make him smarter. That's pretty much about it. And that's really not where the Thinker's power is, but still, all right. Okay. The thing that kind of really I didn't like out of this, and if I'm going to go through and nitpick about stuff, is King Shark. So King Shark is one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite DC villains, if you will, even though he is a ripoff of an Image Comics villain. So King Shark really is a ripoff of a Image Comics villain. Yeah. Anyway, uh, in the Harley Quinn animated series, they made him smart, and he talks eloquently. He's voiced by Ron Funches, and he's also a computer hacker, and it's pretty funny actually. That is a funny thing to do. He's the big lumbering lummox who's dumb, and we've seen this before. Every time you get a big brute of a character who's super strong and everything like that, they always have to be dumb and whatnot. Granted, I still like the character in the movie. It was voiced by Sylvester Stallone, which kind of added to the comical nature of him being so stupid. But I would have liked the animated Harley Quinn version better in this. It would have been a lot more surprising, and would have added a little bit more humor, I think, to the movie in the vein that James Gunn normally does here. So Mork says, I like King Shark in the animated one 100 times more. King Shark here was ugly, and the only one was dumb. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I would have rather have gone with the smarter King Shark. It would have made a better dynamic on it. Uh, yeah. Destrona says Peter Capelli has terminal halitosis. Okay. You just want him off the screen. Yeah, he didn't do anything for me in this role, the thinker. He really just kind of was there. I did love Starro being, the big bad at the end there, and having all those little Starros coming out of him and shooting onto people's faces. What I didn't like again was in the comic, if you knock out Starro, or basically if you knock out Starro, if you're able to uh, make him unconscious or render him incapacitated, his brain or whatever it is, all the little starfish fall off and people are okay again. Um, the one thing that was kind of horrifying, if you go back and look at it, is there's a fuck ton of people that die because they have these little starfishes attached to their face, and they're essentially dead as soon as that thing attaches to their face. Like what the thinker said, he said as soon as they are, they're basically corpses underneath the sea star. Is what they are. They're walking corpses, and yeah, I was like, okay, that's actually kind of fucking horrifying, really. Um, Yeah, so that was kind of one of those things that the changes to Starro I didn't like. And I'm just kind of listing things a little bit like what I didn't like. I'm going to go to the things I did like here in a minute. Um, I really did like the Harley Quinn scene where she comes in and where she escapes, and of course it's set to Louis Prima's "Just a Gigolo," which, by the way, Louis Prima is was a great musician. I actually have on one of my rotations, I have Jump Jive and Wail, the electronica version of it in there. And yeah, this was just pretty funny. They did a great job. That's probably my favorite scene in all of this. The one thing that made me laugh, the one little bit that actually made me laugh pretty hard, is when she gets brought to the palace to see Luna, and she gets out of the limo, and she says gracias, and the gracias with the tongue out made me fucking laugh for some reason. I don't know why it is. I've watched it twice now, and every time I see it, it just makes me laugh. Just because it is something that Harley would do. There's also little touches too in all of this that are really great, like the back of her jacket that says "Live fast, die clown," which I thought was hilarious, considering that she now really fucking hates the Joker. So, "Live fast, die clown," and her bag of with the rocket launcher in it said, "Hey ho, let's go," to the Ramones, of course, and the whole thing with the javelin too, where she keeps getting the javelin in her hand. She's like, "What the fuck's the javelin for?" She goes, and her outbursts just made me. It was the best version of Harley Quinn that we've seen on the screen so far, I have to admit. Um, yes, I liked Idris Elba as well. Idris Elba did a good job. He didn't do a great job. He did a good job. John Cena, I don't like. I'm sorry, I just don't. His Peacemaker character didn't do anything for me. Uh, didn't like him, and even at the end when you knew he was going to cover things up for Amanda Waller, that he's even more of a dick, and so I really didn't like him at all. Ratcatcher 2, of course, great character. They did a good job of this. And I guess initially James Gunn had written it so that she died and not Polka Dot Man. And people he realized would have been up in arms after he was filming this. So he switched it out, and Polka Dot Man dies instead of Ratcatcher 2. And of course, you get the Taika Waititi cameo as him being Ratcatcher 1. and also Palm I can never remember her last name. Starts with a K, from Guardians of the Galaxy, who played Mantis. She's in the bar that they walk into. She's on the stage dancing. So you have a couple of her, and then of course Michael Rooker being Guardians of the Galaxy as cameos in there as well, and Sean Gunn too. So Mork says, good call, because if Ratcatcher died, I would have just shit all over the movie. Yeah, I know. I know. I did kind of like the whole thing with blood sports weapons, how they would open up. They were kind of like interdimensional weapons, I guess you could say, where he could just keep adding to them and make the gun bigger and bigger and bigger. And I thought that was kind of cool. It was also his visor, which I wish we got a little bit more of a look at that, because it looked like it had almost like a Judge Death teeth marks at the bottom down there, like teeth. And he would take it off and it would fold up into his hand. And he would put it behind him. It was kind of a weird thing, but still, that was kind of cool. And like I said, the King Shark, the way they animated it, he was very well done, and tough as hell. But again, if you just switched out the personality with something a bit smarter, I think that would have been a better call in all of this. And Polka Dot Man. So the whole thing with Polka Dot Man having a complex about his mother was pretty funny, I have to admit. That was also a good little bit there, especially when they're dancing in the club and they do that slow motion thing, and he's dancing with all these versions of his mother around him, people that look like his mother, and that was actually pretty damn funny, I have to admit. It's sad to see Joel Kinnaman go as Colonel Flag, but he and Boomerang, of course, had to go out. Um, they of course wanted out of the series, because if it does go into a sequel, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen now because of how much money it made, which I'll get to in a little bit, they would have moved forward with other characters on this. So, and yeah, I don't know. Having Flag, I like Michael Jai Courtney. Is that his name? Yeah, who played Captain Boomerang. I do like him in that character. I like him in other stuff that he's played too. But yeah, this is he went out well. I think I like the way he went out. Colonel Flag, on the other hand, didn't like the way he went out. But then again, that's because John Cena's character killed him. But hey, Um, so overall, like I said, if this had been edited a little bit more, just kind of compacted down a little bit, didn't have those 3 time jumps, if you will, 3 minutes later, 3 days later, or 3 days before, or whatever. I think it would have been a little bit better for me. I know other people, not to get you wrong, this is actually like the second best DC movie that's come out recently. I would say the first one for me being Shazam. Shazam for me is like the high water mark of the modern DC movies, and then it's this one, and then after that, it'd probably be Aquaman. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, it's worth your time. If you haven't seen it yet, if you're just kind of waiting, if you're still on the fence about doing it, go and watch it. It's fun. Um, it's got some good dialogue in it too. And the whole thing with Harley Quinn made me laugh, especially with Javelin, when Javelin's dying and he's handing off the javelin to her. And he says, "You need to find," and he dies, and she's like reaching up, and you think she's going to close his eyes, and instead she smacks him and goes, who am I supposed to find, who am I supposed to find? Which I mean, come on, that was fucking brilliant. That, and also when she kills Luna, and she's, as he's dying there on the ground, she's explaining why to him, why she killed him, and her bad taste in men and everything like that. And she's having a two-way conversation. She's basically filling in his part, which is hilarious. I mean, it actually does work, and it is so Harley. Quite honestly, it is a very Harley Quinn thing to say. So yeah, so good stuff. Uh, Cheryl, I know you like anything with Idris Elba, but like I said, this wasn't like an Idris Elba movie, which was kind of weird. I mean, even though he was the lead in it, I didn't feel like he was the strongest character. I did like Viola Davis coming back for Amanda Waller. She does a great Amanda Waller and just plays her so well, really, really well. So, and then of course the whole team that is back at Belle Reve prison there too. Some good stuff. They he did weave a pretty good world together, but like I said, it just needed to be tightened up just a little bit. That's all you need to do. Just tighten it up. And honestly, it didn't need to be much. Normally, I would say in this, oh, you need to take out like half an hour or 45 minutes. I would say like the 12 minutes, if you tightened it up to 2 hours in running time, it was 2 hours and 12 minutes long. If you took out about 12 minutes of footage uh, in there, which I think you could have done pretty easily, it would have tightened this up a lot better and just been a lot smoother of a movie. And probably would have elevated it above Shazam for me at that point. But yeah, well done. A good movie. I'll probably end up buying it on DVD when it comes out, or Blu-ray. Not Blu-ray, but 4K. All that stuff. Um, like I did with Shazam. Shazam's up there someplace. It's actually right there. Shazam. So, what else do I have going on this week? That's a good question. Tomorrow, what? Ew, gross. Tomorrow is going to be Titans. That's right. It's the return of Titans. I'm going to do episode 1. There's going to be 3 episodes that drop tomorrow. I'm going to do episode 1 only, and then I'm going to do 2 and 3 on Friday night. Thursday is going to be what is Thursday? Good God. Now I'm blanking on it now. Oh, that's right. Thursday is going to be Marvel's What If, the first episode of Marvel's What If. Friday is going to be a double header. It's going to be the season finale of Star Wars The Bad Batch, along with the contest. That's when you're going to go in for the contest for these guys here. And then after that, I'm going to do Titans episodes 2 and 3. And then Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and then these other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. And it's going to be an early one, actually, because I've got a lot of stuff I need to do in that day. So I think I'm going to actually start off pretty damn early in the morning for that one. Just take a look at the schedule at suspendedfanimation.com. You'll see it there. Sunday will be spoiler alert, where I take the basically we talk about anything you guys want to talk about that's already out. And sorry, my everything's shaking because I have a train rolling by. So that's yeah, I live near the train tracks. And every now and then there's a gigantic freight train that goes by and it shakes the entire building. So that's why everything's shaking right now. A lot of fun. And then, of course, Monday I'm going to be off, and Tuesday we'll roll back around again to Is It Worth My Time? And I don't know what I'm doing as of yet next week, but who knows? We'll come up with something here. What happened to last week's SBO? Sorry. Yeah, I last weekend's Saturday Morning Blast Off, and spoiler alert, I had to cancel. I had some lower back issues that were going on, and sitting in this chair was not going to be one of those things I could do. So I had to cancel it, and everything's better now. I've gone to my chiropractor, I've got a new chiropractor, all that kind of stuff, and everything's back into normal, or getting back to normal, I should say. I'm not having to move around as much. Yeah, I feel better. Thanks, Pen. Yeah, it just, I like I said, my back was just fried, and there was just no way I was sitting in this chair. I have this like saddle chair. You can't see it behind me here, but it's actually an ergonomic chair and everything, and that's why I'm moving around all the time. Like, ooh, it is a saddle chair. So ride him, cowboy. No. Yeah. Did he close his eyes while aligning you? No, he didn't, Morks. And it wasn't a he. So yeah. No, it was much needed alignment of the years of abuse my back has taken. Carrying chuckle fucks like Morks. No, I'm kidding. Oh man. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the outcomes of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library. It's kind of hard, I know, to match it with what kind of porn stuff you guys are watching. But anyway, they try to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pop it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it every week, and also have all the links to my social media. And yeah, right, Marks. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for Mork's favorite show, Titans. He even has a poster of this thing up for Titans. That's how much he loves it. So I will see you again tomorrow for Titans. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, Starro might be coming for you, and that's not a good thing. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and stay safe out there, okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.